in the state.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to a Board of County Commissioners. It's unwise.
They were jerks. And at the end, Mulvey said, well, there's a commissioner listening. We have to have it done by the 11th.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have a meeting with you tomorrow, but I do on Thursday.
On Thursday we can talk. Okay. Okay.
You should listen to that meeting. They were awful.
Perhaps you may have told, it sounds like you weren't expecting him anyway, so.
Okay.
Afternoon, Commissioners. We are live and recording.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Tuesday's August 1st, 2023 special business meeting. I will call it to order. If you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Attorney Garcia, do we have certification of today's agenda?
You do. The county attorney's office has reviewed all matters on this agenda, and where appropriate, notice has been provided.
Okay, thank you for that. And do any commissioners have disclosures for items on this agenda?
I have none, thank you.
And I have none either. Commissioner Teal is excused today. Commissioner Thomas and I will be conducting the hearing. So today we're going to move to our regular agenda, which is item 2A to start with. It's 6359 Airport Road, Colorado Scottish Festival, Major Entertainment Event, Project File EE 2023-004. Matthew Jacobowski presenting for staff. Hi, Matt.
Good afternoon. Matt Jacobowski representing Planning Services. The item before you is a request for a major entertainment event at 6359 Airport Road. The project number is EE 2023-004. Catherine Chrysler is here on behalf of the Colorado Scottish Festival. The Scottish Festival also has a number of other folks who can answer any questions you may have. The applicant is requesting a major entertainment event for the Colorado Scottish Festival, August 5th and 6th, for up to 1,500 persons per day. The event is to run Saturday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The festival will feature Scottish cultural activities, music, dancing, food, drink, and other goods vendors. One main musical act is proposed Saturday evening from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The intent of the major entertainment event process is to provide for the orderly control of entertainment events. In this case, the event meets the criteria for a major entertainment event, which requires approval by the Board of County Commissioners. The major event process is outlined on this slide. Staff received one phone call from a nearby property owner who had concerns regarding noise and traffic impacts. No comments were received from other residents or residents in the Banbury Cross community, which is just to the south of the event proposed site. Referral agency comments were related to permits and inspections. South Metro Fire has approved a special event permit for the event. Colorado State Patrol will not require a special event permit and is delegating any necessary traffic control to the county sheriff. A uniformed sheriff's deputy is anticipated at the intersection of Airport Road and Louviers Boulevard during peak traffic periods as requested by the sheriff and as requested by the county engineering department during their review of the application at referral. Electrical permits are required from the county building department prior to the event. The applicant has confirmed retail food service licenses for vendors with the county health department. And I do actually have an exhibit from the county health department which approves and verifies that those retail food service licenses have been provided. Following the board's decision, the applicant will be required to obtain any remaining permits, approvals, licenses, and inspections prior to the opening of the event. The applicant can provide some status updates on any remaining items that may be required. As far as site location, the property is marked by a red star. It's located in northwest Douglas County, near the town of Louviers. Louviers is just a little bit north of the red star. The approximately 170-acre parcel outlined in red is west of Highway 85 and approximately 1/2 mile south of the intersection of Airport Road and Louviers Boulevard. Louviers is up here in the far northwest corner of this map. Zooming in on the aerial, the property is generally surrounded by large lot single-family residences. The event is proposed within this portion of the site. Parking is proposed just west of the festival area. There's actually a polo match proposed during festivities from Saturday morning, I believe, which would be within this area. So for the most part, the festival activities and parking are within the northern portion of the site. Parking is accessed from Airport Road, which is a shared access easement through this portion. The easement is shared by multiple property owners, including residents in the Banbury Cross subdivision, which is, again, south of the site. So legal access is allowed for public events on this property. As background, two-day music festival events were approved in 2017, 2018, and 2019. In some cases for more potential attendees in this event. No events were held in 2020 and 2021. In 2022, the board approved a two-day music festival for 1 year for up to 5,000 attendees. This exhibit shows a detailed view of the event layout. Again, the parking to the west of the festival site, there are approximately 1,600 spaces proposed within that area. On the north side of the festival grounds is a VIP parking area and a rideshare drop-off to separate the rideshare and those who might be parking on their own. The festival includes a main stage approximately in the middle of the site, which is facing to, the event stage is approximately in this area, facing to the east. On the main stage, there will be dancers, piping exhibitions, and other music. Mostly, though, the main act on Saturday night is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Drink and food vendors as well as goods vendors will be north of the main stage. There's another open area for some piping and Scottish athletic events to the south. And as I mentioned, there is a polo competition proposed within the open polo field to the east. That's from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on Saturday. This slide lists the approval standards for a major entertainment event. Staff's assessment of the approval standards is within the staff report, pages 8 and 9. Staff has evaluated the application in accordance with Section 22B of the Douglas County Zoning Resolution. Should the board find that the approval standards for a major entertainment event are met, the following proposed conditions should be considered for inclusion in the motion. Condition number 1, the major entertainment event permit is approved for August 5th and 6th, 2023, as described in the staff report and attached narrative. Proof of inspections, permits, approvals, and agreements from all applicable agencies and county departments shall be submitted prior to the start of the event. Condition number 2, if the applicant proposes significant changes to the duration of the event or the number of participants, a new entertainment event permit approval may be required at the discretion of the county. Condition number 3, the applicant shall meet all South Metro fire permit requirements and shall pass all on-site inspections prior to commencement of the entertainment event. Condition number 4, prior to final event permit issuance, all building and electrical permits shall be obtained by the applicant, and the applicant shall pass all on-site inspections required by the Douglas County Building Division. I should note that original condition number 5 and 6, as shown in the staff report, have since been satisfied by the applicant. Douglas County Health Department, as the exhibit was passed out, has confirmed all retail food licenses for food vendors, and the applicant's liquor license has been approved. Thus, original conditions 5 and 6 from the staff report have been removed. As a result, staff report conditions 7 and 8 are now conditions 5 and 6. Condition number 5, prior to final event permit issuance, the applicant shall provide evidence of an approved traffic control plan and contract for services from the Douglas County Sheriff's Office if required by that agency. And condition number 6, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public meeting and or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. Major event permits shall be approved with conditions continued, tabled for further study, or denied by the Board of County Commissioners at a public meeting. The board shall evaluate the entertainment event request, staff report, applicant responses, and public comment and testimony. The board's action shall be based on the evidence presented, compliance with adopted county standards, regulations, and policies, and other guidelines. This concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions you may have on the staff report or other documents. Otherwise, Catherine Chrysler and her team are here to present on behalf of the Colorado Scottish Festival.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Matt, and welcome to the Colorado Scottish Festival. Would you like to make your presentation?
Yes. Is this thing on? Okay. All right, thank you. My name is Catherine Chrysler. I am the Games Marshal for the 2023 Colorado Scottish Festival. And I think I would like, well, I know, I would like to open with a truly Scottish opening. So if you wouldn't mind helping me. Thank you. All right, that is how we start, or we open up every celebration for our Scottish festivals. Not only our festival, but pretty much every Scottish festival around the nation. And it's mass bands, and unlike, it is something unique. The bagpipes just cannot be contained. Yeah. They have no volume control, and sometimes they truly have a mind of their own. And we would like this ceremonial opening of the Scottish Festival to be something that we make a long-term commitment to Douglas County and to the Denver Polo Club. We would like to see this become our long-term home. Again, my name is Catherine Chrysler. I'm the interim games marshal and logistics coordinator. I've got a bunch of my folks here from our committee that would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Let's see. This our introduction here. A little bit about St. Andrew's Society. So the festival is actually held, it's an event held by the St. Andrew's Society of Colorado, and the society holds different banquets and events and other events for the general public, as well as for our membership to further the culture and camaraderie. And obviously, well, maybe not obviously, the festival is the biggest event that we put on every year, thank goodness. A special note about the St. Andrew's Society and the Colorado Scottish Festival and all of my cohorts here is that each one of them, there are no paid employees. There's nobody in our organization that gets paid to do anything. We are all here as 100% volunteers, giving hours upon hours and hours upon more hours so that this festival and this society and everything keeps going and keeping this, my phone keeps falling asleep. All right, the next one. All right, it started in 1963 as a family picnic held each year in August. There's some of our classic photos from years gone by, and over the years, from its humble beginnings at the Colorado School of Mines, it's grown and it has moved, and we've had several different homes. We've had, after the School of Mines, we moved to Heritage Park and the Highlands Ranch. We had a short stint in Snowmass, and then we ended up in Citizens Park in Edgewater for the last couple of years, during which we were hit with COVID like everybody else, and we have some pictures in here of what we did of virtual games. This is our Highland Dancers. As part of what we did for our COVID year, we did a virtual festival. We had every part of our festival send in videos and clips of their particular flavor and flair, and we compiled those into a virtual festival that was held on our festival weekend. And so we had some great Scottish dancing, we had music, we had clan demonstrations, we had super helpful, explained a lot of stuff about the Scottish athletes that I had no idea about, so it was very educational for all of us. And if anybody has a chance to go to the St. Andrew's Society YouTube page, I encourage you to take a look at some of these. Some of my favorite is Denver and District Pipe Band's 360 videos where it was taken inside of the pipe band circle. So if you have your headphones on, you can actually turn around inside the circle and be able to hear all the different musicalness of the pipes and the drums. It's really interesting. Good grief. All right, so some of our festival features, we have competitions, like you said, it's more than just a festival, everybody getting together and dressing in kilts. We actually have nationally recognized athletes, Highland dancers, and piping and drumming that happens all weekend. We also have Celtic music, a Scottish market, our vendors, Scottish food. Yes, if anybody's curious, there will be haggis, and yes, it is delicious. You can try it before you buy it. Yes, it is, I don't know, come and try it. We have British dogs, British cars, including a double-decker bus. That is this guy down here. It's a, I believe, Alan's going to roast me for not remembering the year. I think he said a
54.
54. Okay, I was going to say 56. A 54 double-decker. As well as tartan information, and people are curious about their genealogy, wondering if, I don't know, some ancestor's name is such and such. Is that any correlation to a Scottish clan? And we can help them find that information. Our children's activities I'm super excited about. They're going to get to make a sporn, which is one of these things, which is super great, and amongst other stuff. So it's we've got a lot of dedicated people looking to do some really creative things for our festival. The whiskey tasting seminar, it's more than just a whiskey tasting. You're not walking up and getting a wee sample and wandering off. It is a true education. It's a half hour, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour education on whiskey. And Buzz is an absolute treat to be around. VIP Thistle Club and Angus Moore, one of my favorite Celtic rock groups. They do Celtic tunes as well as covers of some of my personal favorites, Dylan, Pink Floyd, and Johnny Cash. All right, our general operation plan, most of this information you've received in the documentation that has been sent over previously. We are insured. Right now, we have overnight and daytime security with Denver Metro Security. The volunteers, we have the Young Marines are going to be helping us with parking, and we have the Optimists that will be handling cash. We have radios to make sure all of our staff stay in contact, and actually, in addition to this, working on a solution for Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi calling in the bowl, because it can be spotty, so we want to make sure that we have full access to that kind of communication as well. We put out a field guide, which should be in the documentation that everybody has received, that outlines all kinds of things, like I said, committee and volunteer procedures, contact information, an incident report form should something happen that we need to take record of, and the signs of heat-related illness and how to handle them. We also will be directing traffic at the festival, general parking, ADA, rideshare, as mentioned before. And we have golf carts to help assess people getting from the upper parking area down to the lower parking area, or where the festival is, should we need to do that. In addition, actually maybe that's addressed in another area, the traffic plan, we have made an addition to that. I spoke to Bob at the Denver Polo Club yesterday about he was talking about 2-lane traffic, and I didn't understand what he meant by that, but we worked that out where we will have attendants where if there's any backup onto Airport Road, we will have radioed attendants. We'll be able to stop oncoming traffic to let residents past any congestion to get to where they need to go. So we have a plan in place for that, because we certainly don't want to hinder the neighbors from being able to get where they need to go. All right. So response to the comments that were made from the different district, or the different areas of Douglas County government. The electrical and building services, we've been in contact with Greg, and he's been out of town. He should be back, I believe, today or tomorrow, or yesterday or today. But he's been in contact with our buddy Dirk, and everything seems to be in line for what we need for that. Inspection has already been set up for Friday, August 4th at noon. The Colorado Department of Transportation, I have reached out, and they actually did reply, and we've gone back and forth twice, and I received something on my way here that I have not been able to open, so I have no idea what that says, so we'll see what that says when I can open it. But that is in regards to possibly having a sign on 85 directing festival goers to our event. Obviously, if they say no, if there's not enough time to get it done, then we obviously are not going to put a sign out there. But if we can accommodate it, that would be lovely. Douglas County Health Department, like I said, we've got the contract, or we got the permit for that. We will have bottled water, and we have speed limit signs that we're going to put around the parking and the roads to limit the speed, to make sure that dust is kept down. Although Mother Nature seems to be doing a pretty bang-up job of keeping the dust down recently. We're going to have an entirely different parking lot issues, but that's fine. That's totally fine. Engineering and Sheriff's Office, we've been in contact with Sergeant Miller, and just trying to figure out the uniform traffic control officer that's going to be needed at the corner of Louviers and Airport Road. So we're working on getting that accommodation figured out. Let's see. And that's it for that. Here is a list of where I'm proposing to put the signs. And these are, we got some up by 85. If we can't put them right on the corner of 85, I didn't know if we would have the ability to put them close to it over here. Obviously, we'll figure that out and do what is allowed. We're certainly not going to put them where we're not allowed to put them. And this is what I call the turnaround, right where the shared access road starts. There's a banner and 2 small signs there. I've built some mock-ups here so we can kind of see what it would look like, as close to size correct as I could estimate it in the different areas. And that's about it. I wanted to say a heartfelt thank you from myself and everyone on my committee for taking the time to add this to your schedule. We obviously fully understand the gravity of the situation that we found ourselves in, and it is not a place we want to be next year. So we thank you for taking the time to accommodate us today. And like my note says, armed with the information we've learned over the last few weeks and a better understanding of the Douglas County event process, if granted permission to hold this festival, I assure you we will not be in the same situation next year. And I'd also like to say a personal thank you to all of the departments that we have worked with. Everybody has been really, truly lovely to work with in a situation that really could have been tense and unpleasant. Douglas County has really surpassed my expectations of what this could have turned into. So I truly thank you and appreciate you. And Slán Seama is Scottish for in good health. So thank you.
Ms. Chrysler, thank you so much for that presentation. And again, thank you to the entire team for being here with us today. Let me just open it up for any questions or comments from the board. And before I do that, let me ask, are you okay with the 6 conditions as presented?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioner Thomas?
I do. I have a bunch. So thank you for being here, and your comment about staff helping you get this done on something that could have been really tense. I imagine that if you were in some other counties trying to get this done at the last minute, you wouldn't get it done. And so I have a huge thanks for my staff, but why are we here 4 days before this event starts?
That was a serious miscommunication, and honestly, I hold all the responsibility for that, being the person who is supposed to know how to put this together. My background on the festival has been just logistics. Like, I'm the one typically in charge of tents and portlets and making sure that spacing and ordering is done properly. We were without a games marshal and somebody who that is their focus. And so as a team, we're like, okay, this is what we need to get accomplished. And it fell through the cracks. We thought with the liquor license and the fire department and the health, which are the and the police, those basic areas that we've always worked with in other counties, that, okay, we've got those things covered, and I looked on the website, found, okay, this is special event, well, this is only for, in my mind, it looked like the traffic events were only if you were planning to block traffic. So it did not seem like it related to our event because we weren't a race or something that was blocking traffic. It wasn't, it was a major miss on our part, and we tried a few different ways to get more information, and we were just falling short. I'm not sure why we weren't getting the information that we needed, but it was not malicious, and it wasn't, at no point did we think we were going to slide this one in or anything like that. We thought we were doing what we needed to do.
So my concern is about traffic, number one. My background is I was with the State Patrol for many years, and as a major, I permitted events like Ride the Rockies. And I did that for many years, and I understand the complicated issues of putting together a traffic plan so that nobody gets hurt. And when I read through all the packet, it shows what I read on page 41 is that there is no time for a traffic study. And so we are going to put on an event on a 2-lane road on Highway 85 with no traffic study. Does that concern you at all?
What I understand was that because we didn't have time to do a traffic study, that one from a similar sized event was submitted to help give an idea of what we could expect. So yeah, that next year we will get that handled. We certainly don't want to be out of compliance with Douglas County. But I was under the impression that using a report from a previous similar event would give us a guideline that would help us get through this year.
So I live just a couple of blocks from Highlands Heritage Park, so I have heard your event for years that was at the Highlands Heritage Park. On page 11, it says there were no comments received, but I heard today there was a call that we received about the noise. So do you feel that you have a plan in place so that the neighbors are not going to be upset about the noise?
With the placement of the festival down, like in that bowl, I don't perceive it being a major. We will know after this year if our sound carries that far, because I don't see it carrying. I mean, bagpipes are noisy, but they're only noisy to a distance.
I've lived by it for years, trust me.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the alcohol security plan that you have.
Yes, we will have our Optimist Club will be checking IDs, and we have special non-transferable wristbands that are specific to our 21 and over guests. The alcohol is only sold in the beer and the gin booths, and we will have like no alcohol beyond this point kind of signage so that nobody leaves with anything. We're not allowing anyone to bring in alcohol. They can only bring in their water and things like that. There should be no outside alcohol.
Okay. And are you working with, you said you've got your liquor license already. Mm-hmm. So you're working with the company who helped you get that done so you know that your people are trained, or talk to me about that?
Yeah, Breakthrough Beverage is our supplier for the beer and the whiskey and those things, and their people are the ones who do the pouring.
Okay. One last comment. I think I have sat on permits for this property maybe 4 or 5 times, and in the past there have been concerns with access from neighbors on a shared driveway. I don't know if that's for you or Ms. Gandekar to answer that question.
Right. What we, in my conversation with Bob yesterday, he explained to me what he meant by maintaining a 2-lane road so that the neighbors can get by. And as explained earlier, we will have a parking attendant should the traffic bleed off onto Airport Road, which I believe we have over, per my measurements, over 830 feet of on-property driveway fit roughly 35 to 40 cars before it hits the road. And my plan with our parking people is if things start to back up onto the road, that they will move their check-in point further down into the property. So we're hoping that there will be no backup on the road. But if we have a plan, then we won't need to use it. So we're going to have a plan that if there is any backup, we're going to have a walkie-talkie attendant at the entrance to the property and another one wherever the backup begins. So if a resident comes through, they can walkie to the person by the entrance to the property, have them stop any oncoming traffic so that resident can surpass the line and get past the entrance to the property and move on to where they're going.
Okay. I'm wondering if, after you've had some questions, Commissioner Layden, if we could give Ms. Chrysler an opportunity to read this message that she got from CDOT so we know what that says. And I'm interested in how long before this the Gandicars made an agreement to use this property for this project.
That's fine. Well, let me make a couple of comments before we do that, and thank you for that line of inquiry, Commissioner Thomas. I would just say, first and foremost, as a fifth-generation Coloradan whose mother is Scottish and Irish, it's really a pleasure to have you here. I spent most of my growing up years going to the Highland Scottish-Irish Festival in Estes Park, and the moment that the bagpipes played, it was an immediate reaction from my mom, and I don't know if it's genetic, but I tend to have that as well, as you might share with me. So it was a pleasure to see that, and thank you for bringing that before us. My sense is that COVID probably impacted you, like many other really important event producers throughout Colorado. In Douglas County, we often say we don't wait to do great, and we like to get out of the way as government and try to provide an opportunity for you to be as successful as possible. So from what I have heard, I'm really pleased that the legal criteria have been met in my review of the packet. I'll look forward to some citizen comment if there is any, but I don't really have any significant questions. I have every faith in you and your organization that you will be able to pull off a spectacular event with a lot of attendees, we hope. So really pleased that you're here before us, and I do not have any additional questions. So with that, I guess we'll play that message, and if there's some additional input from citizens, I guess if you want to read the comment from CDOT.
It required logging in, so that is where the problem is going to be.
Yeah, and in case you're wondering, my dad is Latin, so you're probably like, wow, this guy's not Scottish, Irish at all. Just enough. I got the melanin from him, so.
Well, that is kind of the fun thing about the Scottish community, because typically at any event that I'm in a pipe band, I'm a drummer in Denver District Pipes and Drums. We have an event, and it's always like, all right, how many here are Irish or Scottish? And hands go up, and mine stays down. Mm-hmm. Not even a little bit. I'm not even a little bit Scottish. And yet here I am.
Here you are.
I found my group of weirdos. They've accepted me, and this is where
you've been adopted.
I have found my people. All right, it might take me a minute to.
Would you like me to answer any questions while you log in? Or do you want to? What it is easiest?
Find it. Are there other questions that I can answer while I'm also looking for?
Sure, and maybe while we're waiting, yes, if you want to come up, we'd be pleased to engage with you and maybe ask a couple of questions if you had any comments for us. Yeah.
Sure. Then we don't have to make Miss Catherine nervous staring.
Yeah. I'm horrible at IT. That would have taken me 20 minutes to figure out. So.
Hi, my name's Erica Gandam-Carr. My family and I own and operate the Denver Polo Club. I think the last time I was here could have been maybe a year ago with Joby and her son talking about Higher Ground Music Festival, which was the one that Matt had referred to, the 5,000 person event. So just a brief history so that I can go on record for this meeting. We've been in Douglas County for over 41 years. In fact, it was really fun. I never get a chance to come down to Castle Rock. We always head north, and it was really fun to bring my little with me today. and say, oh, that was where I went to high school, and the junior high was over there, and the high school's there, but now it's a high school. And then, of course, coming into downtown Castle Rock is incredible. So, good job. It looks great. So yeah, we've been here for 40 years. We've had the property there at Airport Road. We've been there for, I think, 25 years. And we had another piece in between. Long story short, we've been in Douglas County with large acreage for a little bit. So the polo fields have become, and Douglas County has become home for us. We host several polo tournaments throughout the season, but then we've also been approached by other larger organizations that want to hold their festivals there. So as a family, I think you guys all know about Polo Fest years ago. Those are life lessons. Every day is a school day. I think I even alluded to that in my last speech. And so when we were working with Higher Ground, that contract, that process, and everything moving forward after Polo Fest was real tight, because as a family, we don't do stuff like that. We get approached weekly to do stuff at that facility and at our other location closer to Chatfield. And again, as a family, this is our home. Douglas County is our home. We don't want to have some promoter or some festival or some whoever come in and out and mess things up. It's just not who we are. So anytime I put my neck on the line or I'm standing here, it's because we've thought this out as a family. We're so honored that the Colorado Scottish Festival in St. Andrews has approached us and said, hey, look, we need a home. We've been doing this. This will be our 60th, 59th festival. And to me, that's credibility. That's just like my family. So can my family join your family? Yeah, I think we can do that. And then let alone having that in Douglas County. Again, I'm a huge fan of Douglas County. I think you guys done a great job here looking at Douglas County Fair. I think that what's that, 105 years? And people come from all over the world, all over the country to our county. It makes me proud. And this is no different. So that's why I'm excited to say, yes, Colorado Scottish Festival, we will be your home, and I will fight to allow that for you. Laura, you had a great question, your last question asking, how long did we know about this? Like, why are we all in this room sort of like, can we do this? I respect that. We didn't know. Nobody knew. It was one of those things like, we don't know what we don't know. So as a family, we work out the deals with organizations, and we assume that they have that taken care of. Again, every day is a school day. And I think I've learned now in my years here on Earth that don't assume anything. And that's same with this. So now we knew about this 4 months. I think maybe even last, it was like beginning of summer. And so it wasn't a ton of time, but yes, we did know about it. We assumed they were doing things. Maybe they assumed we were doing things. We didn't even know if we had to do things because it wasn't that big of an event. I don't know if have you guys ever been on property? It's huge. And so 3,000 people in and out traffic, it really doesn't make that much of an impact. And so I guess it was just sort of it got lost in translation. So I'll come back to that in a second because I'm working on some other things in the background so that we don't have to be here next year. We don't have to sit here for Higher Grounds and talk about it again. We don't have to sit here for Scottish Festival and talk about it again. We're not doing Higher Grounds. They're going to take a year off just for their own purposes. But hopefully, I'll talk to Matt and the office staff later and do I think we learned about a special use permit. And then maybe it's just simpler. It's more streamlined for everybody, so we don't have to sit here and do that. So that's kind of a long roundabout way to answer your question. Access, you had a question. There was one call about noise and traffic impact. And then the access on the shared driveway. So those kind of go hand in hand. And just like what Ms. Catherine had said, yeah, 100%. I've talked to all the neighbors. The 2-lane traffic worked great last year. For the higher grounds, everything was seamless. There wasn't any issues. And again, with the way they have people coming into the parking lots, there's enough room to move in and out. So I don't think there'll be an issue based on previous events and previous things that we've done before. There was a question on the noise. And yes, 100%. I was actually even joking, but the polo players today during practice, it's different bagpipes versus bass. And so I think having the east-facing stage is going to be great. The east, on that property, it sits kind of, the polo fields sit in a bowl, and where the stage is kind of a cliff, and then it'll face east to the Plum Creek River, and then Santa Fe is on the other side of that, and then there's a huge, big property on the other side. So I think as far as noise traveling down that valley, I don't think there should be any. I think it should be fine. And then the traffic study, I'd have to double check with staff, but I know years ago we did a traffic study. We were going to do, we were looking at doing some PD zoning. So we had a traffic study from the PD zoning, and then we had traffic study for Polo Fest, and then we did another one for higher grounds. And I think that was the one that Ms. Catherine was referring to add to this one. In addition, since those studies, Waterton Canyon, so Sterling Ranch, again, I'm not 100% sure where everybody lives or their familiarity with that specific area, but Airport Road now goes from Santa Fe all the way up to Waterton, and then over to Titan. So lots of ways to kind of move in and out there since those previous traffic studies. So long story short, as a family, we're really, really, really excited to give the Scottish Festival and St. Andrews a home. And just like Catherine said, moving into 2024, you'll probably be hearing more from me about how to start that process of the special use permit.
That's great. I know my colleague will have some questions. I'll just make a couple of comments, not only as a commissioner, but as a former land use attorney, and also a taxpayer. Those amazing individuals to your right, you're paying for. That's part of your tax dollars.
Perfect.
And they are some of the best planners in the state. I'm biased. I've had an opportunity to work with them for a while, but I would really encourage you to engage with them early and often. In Douglas County, we're open for business, but we also plan ahead and get organized well ahead. And the more in communication you are with our planning department, the more streamlined things can often be. So they're here to have those conversations with you. So hopefully there's never any surprises in the future.
Yeah.
I would just add from a policy standpoint, I believe our board is really thrilled to have significant businesses in our community, significant events. It raises the bar for our economic development, improves our economy, identifies iconic opportunities within our county. So there's a lot of benefits when there are significant events that go off well. So I'm a huge fan of you engaging with entities that want to have really exciting events in Douglas County. But I think it does all come down to process. Commissioner Thomas, additional questions or comments?
Thank you. You've been here before many times, and you always have this enthusiastic can-do attitude, and I appreciate that. I've done these special events for years, and it doesn't take a lot for there to be a problem. And I think the Renaissance Festival is still going on this weekend, so there's going to be a lot of traffic going south. And I just want to make sure that you have the plans in place. That's why I'm giving time to find out what CDOT has said. When I saw that State Patrol is saying they don't need a special permit, I think they've always required State Patrol to be there in the past on 85, which was another thing that I'm thinking, is this because it's last minute, it's not going to be done right? I just don't want to have any problems. And so any help you get us, help us, so in the future we aren't here with hair on fire trying to get this done.
Yes.
So I don't have any more questions for you, and if we have information about what CDOT has said, I'm interested in hearing that.
Yeah.
Ms. Chrysler, thank you for that.
Yes, for sure.
All right, so I got two different responses. One was that that CDOT, my communication with CDOT was about signage on 85 at airport, and they have said that no, that will not be granted. That is totally fine. So we will not be putting signs out on 85, and that our the special event permit for traffic has been submitted and it's being expedited. So I don't have a response yet as to what their requirements are for that. But we have been told by I'm sorry, I get the different entities mixed up right now, that we did not need any uniform traffic control at 85, just at Louviers and Airport Road. That's all we've been communicated with so far. If that changes, we will absolutely comply with that, but that we have not been told. We were told that we are good without that.
I thought I read in the packet that the sheriff's office said since the State Patrol was not going to be involved, that the sheriff's office wanted someone on 85. Is that part of the packet, Matt?
It wasn't on 85 that I'm aware of.
Matt Jacobowski for staff. I'm just going to start a little bit backward with what the State Patrol said. The State Patrol indicated that they do not require a special event permit and they do not require any traffic control from Highway 85. And from what I understand, that's the same as occurred last year for the Higher Ground Festival. So with that, the State Patrol indicated that they would delegate authority to the Sheriff's Office for Airport Road and Louviers Boulevard. And the sheriff said that they feel that there should be uniform traffic control at Airport Road and Louviers Boulevard, but there would not be any traffic control on 85. Since what the State Patrol indicated was that they were comfortable with no traffic control directly from 85. So that's where we are, which is just Airport Road and Louviers Boulevard.
Okay, great. As long as this is all on the record, I'm fine with it. So thank you, Matt. I have no other questions.
Okay, thank you. And I don't either. Let me open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment either in the room or online with regard to this item 2A?
I have no online comment, Commissioner Layden.
Okay, thank you, Christy. And with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
I have a motion to approve the 6359 Airport Road Colorado Scottish Festival major entertainment event because it does meet all of the approval criteria with the 6 conditions as presented. Project file EE 2023-004.
And I will second that motion. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries 2-0. Congratulations, and good luck. Hope it goes great. Thank you, good luck. And with that, we'll move on to item 2B, which is property, boiler and machinery, cyber, and pollution insurance coverages for Douglas County to renew annually on July 1st in the amount of $473,057.15. Coverage is placed in the Alliant Property Insurance Program specific to public entities. Megan Datweiler, Risk Manager, presenting for staff. I think we see Megan online. Hi, Megan.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Good. Well, my item is not nearly as exciting as the Scottish
Megan, did you
Festival,
listen to
but
all of that?
I did.
Good.
I did. And my mom is from Ireland, so not Scottish, but
All
I have
right.
the same affinity for bagpipes. For some reason, it's the Celts in us, I guess.
know.
But yes. So, and I will say that last minute preparation on behalf of the Scottish Festival offered an opportunity for me to present my agenda item because I too was a bit of a procrastinator, so it worked out well for me. Yes, so I do have something to share. This is in the memo that has been presented to you, but I do want to just highlight a few things. You've heard from me ad nauseum over the last few years about the pressure.
Megan, you just cut out if you can still hear us. I don't know if we want to get a sense from IT if there's any challenges there. Just on her local line, okay. We'll wait a moment for Megan to patch back in. You know, in the absence of Megan Datweiler, I believe the board has reviewed the packet. I might ask the county manager to maybe provide a brief summary if possible.
I think the cover memo that Megan put together does a nice summary. This is truly her favorite thing to do in working with our insurance broker to do the property. I know initially we faced a pretty steep incline, but through some value engineering, some of which is outlined in the memo, got it down to where it's actually a decrease over the rate from last year. And Megan and I have met at length to go over her rationale behind that. And of course, in my view, there's very little that knows as much about insurance as Megan, very few people. So I think it's really well thought out, and I would recommend the board's favorable approval.
Thank you, Mr. DeBoard. Any questions for staff with regard to this item?
No, I just read through the packet last night, and she starts off telling us everything's gone up, as we all know, anybody who's got insurance on their home or anything. And then at the end, it says that we actually have a lower, she got it lower than the previous year. The resulting renewal premium is 4.81% lower than last year. So leave it to Megan to come in and do great work for us. So I have no questions.
And I have no questions either. I reviewed the packet as well, and I would agree that in my time here, Megan has always been great at identifying savings with our carriers with regard to our, is she back on? Okay. Hi, Megan.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
We lost you. Were you crying too much about the bagpipes?
No, I don't know. I actually I was giving my spiel, and then I realized nobody's listening. So I apologize.
Well, Doug just gave your presentation. Is there anything you would add, Megan?
No, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew we put in some efforts to be a little bit more judicious with our premium dollars, and really give our underwriter a budget And so we kind of came together to find a happy medium where we were able to take some of the properties off of the insurance, but ultimately keep our premium dollars, as kind of close as possible.
Well, thank you for that. If you missed it, we were singing your praises that few know more about risk than Megan Datweiler, and you are really great at saving the county money. Now that you're back on, let me just ask if we have any questions for Megan.
I have none, thank you.
Okay, and I have none either. Let me open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment either in person or online with regard to this item 2B?
I have no online comments, Commissioner Thomas, or Commissioner Lee, excuse me.
No problem. Thank you, Christy. So with that, I will close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
I have a motion to approve property, boiler, and machinery, cyber, and pollution insurance coverages for Douglas County, renew annually on July 1st in the amount of $473,057.15. Coverage is placed in the Alliant Property Insurance Program specific to public entities.
And I will second that motion. Is there any further discussion?
I have none.
I have none either. Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries 2-0. Thank you very much, Megan, and we are adjourned.